Hello and welcome to the United Kingdom of Christ podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Griego, coming to you from the beautiful Denver metro area. I want to thank you for taking the time to join me for our Bible study session. Hope you're finding these episodes beneficial to your spiritual growth, improving your understanding of the Bible and your relationship with our Heavenly Father. I appreciate your support because there's nothing I'd rather be doing than spending time here studying the Bible with you. If you'd like to connect with me, you can follow me on X. My handle is UK_Christ. I can also be reached via email at uk.christ@outlook.com. Please feel free to call or text me at 720-805-8886. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can on all those contact methods. I really enjoy the opportunity to interact with you because, you're my family, you're my friends. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Anything that I can do to help you, provide advice, prayer, whatever you need, if it's within my means, I'll definitely be willing to help as much as I possibly can. So today we are jumping into Genesis chapter 31. We're going to be going verses 1 through 21. Let's go ahead and knock it out and see what we can learn today, huh? Now Jacob heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what belonged to our father he has made all his wealth. Jacob saw the attitude of Laban, and behold, it was not friendly toward him as formerly. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to his flock in the field, and said to them, I see your father's attitude, that it is not friendly toward me as formerly. But the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my strength. Yet your father has cheated me and changed my wages 10 times. However, God did not allow him to hurt me. If he spoke thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flock brought forth speckled. And if he spoke thus, the striped shall be your wages, then all the flock brought forth striped. Thus God has taken away your father's livestock and given them to me. And it came about at the time when the flock were mating that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the male goats which were mating were striped, speckled, and mottled. Then the angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. He said, Lift up now your eyes and see that all the male goats which are mating are striped, speckled, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me. Now arise, leave this land, and return to the land of your birth. Rachel and Leah said to him, Do we still have any portion or inheritance in our father's house? Are we not reckoned by him as foreigners? For he has sold us, and has also entirely consumed our purchase price. Surely all the wealth which God has taken away from our father belongs to us and our children. Now then, do whatever God has said to you. Then Jacob arose and put his children and his wives upon camels, and he drove away all his livestock and his property which he had gathered. His acquired livestock which he had gathered in Paddan Aram, to go to the land of Canaan to his father Isaac. When Laban had gone to shear his flock, then Rachel stole the household idols that were her father's. And Jacob deceived Laban the Aramean by not telling him that he was fleeing. So he fled with all that he had, and he arose and crossed the Euphrates River, and set his face toward the hill country of Gilead. So, this one, it makes me think like how we can apply this to our own lives. First of all, let's look at it. The Lord is guiding Jacob. He says, it's time to go. And the attitudes of Laban's family, his sons, anybody truly affected by this situation, the wealth of the situation, has changed their disposition, their attitude, as it says, toward Jacob. Jacob has served them loyally, and although the agreements that were made, they had changed, as Jacob explained to Leah and Rachel and Leah, and that they've benefited Jacob. And due to the benefit by God's design, right, that he has become so well off that others have become envious of his wealth, such as Laban and his sons. And the girls look at it and they're like, okay, well, you know what? He's already sold us off. He doesn't even treat us as his own children anymore. We have nothing involved with this. And you know what? If God gave you all this, fine. Now, unfortunately, one of the gals ended up stealing the idols. That was Rachel. And so they took the idols, and not very smart. I call it paganism. Just, they were other gods. And I'm actually shocked by this time that someone like Laban, who had seen the Lord's work in his own life, still have idols and false gods. And, you know, I guess we know what we know, and you never know. That may have been like, the idols may have been like not a source of wealth, but like a status symbol of wealth, right? So he may not have wanted to part with them, even though he saw. So instead of trying to actually have a closer relationship with the Lord, he decided to hate the Lord's design and all the prosperity that he had given Jacob and his sons as well. So they decided to leave. But what I want to discuss, how we can apply this to our own lives, like, how do we know when it's time to go? How do we know when it's time to say? When do we persevere? When do we know, like, hey, this is a lost cause? It's time for us to cut our losses and move forward. And we'll use a real general one. Unfortunately, and not unfortunately, you know, work is a great thing. We'll say a job. Sometimes we end up in situations where a job may become unsuitable to us. And that's the thing, is that when it's time to go, it is time to go, right? What I would say, though, how we can apply this to our own life, is try to have the foresight instead of hindsight. Try to see it like, okay, yeah, you know, just like how Jacob noticed that Laban and his sons had started treating him poorly, instead of just being like, oh, we're out, cutting it. Because, you know, if you think about it, even though Jacob left without Laban knowing, they still weren't able to leave just at the drop of a dime. You know, Rachel even had time to go back and get the idols. So really it shows that they were able to prepare for this. So when it comes to our example of a job, how can we best prepare to leave a job? Having somewhere else to go first, and having a plan, and preparing ourselves. You know, whether it be buffing up your resume or starting your own company, which I am a huge supporter of. I think that entrepreneurial endeavors, beyond the prosperity aspect of it, making more money, I do believe that it allows individuals that choose to follow the Lord to actually be able to put in what they feel is the Lord's desire. And it doesn't matter, like, you could be cutting yards, you could start a little food truck, whatever it is, but it takes preparation. We can't just at the drop of the dime do that. And I'm one that's done it before too, just drop of a dime, cutting loose ends, I'm out, you know. And I always joke with people and I tell them, man, I should have turned in my 2 weeks notice 2 weeks ago. And just, you get so high up. And what I would, you know, really try to, I don't know if preach is the right word, but encourage, right? I would encourage patience and preparation and perseverance. And the reason I do that is because I don't want you just to cut ties like, I'm over it, I'm done, bye. I want you to have a plan. And beyond the plan, you never know. While you're sitting there and you're buffing up your resume, maybe the reason that you weren't being treated as well as you used to is it's kind of a test that's been put in your life to see how you do react. And by the time you're getting everything actually set up, you get a promotion, or you are moved to another state that is going to actually increase how much you're going to make. Or who knows, a lot of people, like Laban, like we said, Laban and his sons, the reason that they started treating Jacob poorly was because he had favor. They were envying him because of what he was actually able to accomplish due to the Lord blessing him. and having the Lord's favor, because he was a servant of the Lord. And once again, I've told you this many a times, I'm not into the prosperity gospel. Once again, Christ has told us so. Money shouldn't be our overall motivating factor, right? So I don't want you, oh, well, I hate this job because I don't make enough money. I got to go find another job that I make more money. And what happens if you hate that job even more than you hated the job where you made less money? So, but yeah, it's just amazing. I'm always so amazed. Another thing that amazes me is, when the Lord talks to his servants. And I always think about it this way, like, everything is so loud nowadays. And when I say loud, what I actually mean is, like, everybody, it just feels like spiritually, everybody is screaming at the top of their lungs, trying to be heard, trying to be a voice that other people want to follow. You look at influencers online, you look at all these different things that people are doing, and everybody just wants to be heard. And with there being such a smaller population back in these days, how much more quiet would it have been? And not just like out in the middle of a field with your flock like Jacob, but just spiritually, not everybody screaming out all at once, trying to be heard. And how much easier when we bring peace into our life, that the Lord can actually speak to us or guide us even better than he currently does. And he does amazing for me, and I'm sure he does amazingly for you as well. It's just, I don't want to say envy, but man, it would just be so amazing to have had those opportunities to be in silence, to have spiritual peace. And I have a ton of spiritual peace, but I think even if you have the same spiritual peace as me, which I hope you do, I think you would agree that it is so loud right now that it's just got to be so difficult for us to actually try to take the time and make the effort to listen. The kids got practice, the wife wants this, the husband wants this, we got to support, we got to help our parents with this, I've got cousins that want this, oh, well, my friend Billy needs this or that or the other. In reality, it's not very peaceful. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of commotion. So this may be synonymous, my apologies. But in reality, there's just so much going on that it can make our lives extremely difficult. And trying to find time to make more of an effort so we can listen to the Lord and his desires for our lives. So once again, I want to thank you so much. I'm Glenn Griego, your host of the United Kingdom of Christ podcast. Thank you so much for being here. These Bible study sessions are super special to me. I love the Word. I truly do. It's provided me so much peace, so much guidance, just always. And it's just really increased the depth and the maturity of my relationship with our Heavenly Father. And I'm just so grateful that I have the opportunity to spend this time with you. So once again, you can reach me via email, uk.christ@outlook.com. Feel free to follow me on X. The handle is UK_Christ. I can also be reached via call or text message, 720-805-8886. Don't hesitate. Seriously, if there's anything that you need, don't feel like, it's a bother or anything like that. The whole reason that I've begun making this content, the Bible study sessions, the sermons, have a couple other ideas I'm actually getting ready to launch. I haven't launched this, if making a ton of content first, just so you have a lot of stuff to go through. But I just, don't feel that you're a bother. If you need prayer, you just need to talk to somebody, you just need to vent, I'm here. If you want to vent, you can definitely leave a voicemail. You probably vent better via email because you can probably actually do it a longer email, or just guidance overall. But just please, continue to hone or strengthen, just focusing on your relationship with our Heavenly Father because of Christ. That's why we have that relationship, right? without Christ, we don't have that relationship. And later in the Bible, trust me, there's tons of stuff in the Bible, and it is all, in my opinion, so important. And we look at all the stuff that's going on in our world and our nation, and it's the Bible has told us. Christ told us, the Lord's servants have told us, the prophets have told us, like, hey, this is what's happening. And if you're really into it, you're going to know that's what's going on. And some people don't see it that way because they haven't actually spent time with our Heavenly Father in this manner. So, thank you so much again. God bless.